Well, good evening, good afternoon to you beautiful people out there. Welcome to another episode of Winedown Wednesday with Kecia. And tonight's topic we're going to be talking about, and as I made in my announcement earlier, we're going to be wrapping up and completing and giving a complete breakdown of what a narcissist is. Um, and tonight, I don't have a wine because I'm not drinking. I kind of gave up alcohol for a little while, but you guys can sip on your favorite drink, whatever you're drinking right now, since I can't drink wine. I kind of went to the store and I got this little drink here. It's called Crescent Nine. Um, it's about 5 milligrams of THC in this. It's very relaxing. Is just enough to take get you relaxed. Not enough to have you severely intoxicated out of your mind. And I just wanted to try them. So I mean, it's really good. Hopefully, it'll help me to sleep good tonight. It tastes like it's a fruity flavor. So, and at the store, I saw they had the waters and all different types of flavors of this stuff. And I said, hey, this is interesting. Let me try this. Okay. So that's why I purchased that. And it's not hitting me like alcohol. So this is my substitute right here to relax. So I'm gonna let Master Coach True here, True the boss, introduce herself because she's been on the show many of times. And then once she introduces herself, we're going to get into this topic of talking about, why is everybody a narcissist now? And we have these internet psychologists and and psychiatrists that are diagnosing people as narcissists. So basically everyone is a narcissist, but I really want to get across is the message is this is a real DSM-5 diagnosis. So we're going to break that down, and I'm going to let Master Coach True get into this.
Hey, everybody. I am Coach True the Boss, you guys, Master Coach True the Boss. And I am a self-perception and leadership and empowerment coach. I am also a PLPC, which is a provisional licensed therapist, right? So today we're going to be talking about narcissist labels online and understanding these labels and understanding narcissism, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. The whole point of the talk today is basically to understand why the labels are the labels, understanding narcissism and breaking them down. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, anybody have any questions, please put them in the comments below and we'll be happy to answer them as we can. Okay, so the question surged for people about labeling others as narcissistic online, right? And has a lot of layers. It has a lot of layers of why it's happening and why it can be helpful, right? And or harmful. So we're going to talk about that. So why is everyone being labeled online as a narcissist? So increasing the mental health awareness, social media has made a psychological term, right? Or more, it has made it more mainstream. The term is what, like narcissism, gaslighting, trauma bonding, are now part of a conversation that's being had. Even if people don't fully understand those terms, right? Don't fully understand them at all. So the short form contents simplifies and the complex ideas. It helps you to understand it. It helps you to, they basically simplifies everything that goes on, even if it's a 60-minute or 60-second, a 60-second short that you're looking at, right? So let's say TikTok reels. Let's talk about that. The threads are often reduced, right? They're often reduced. The topics are quick and quick listed. They make it easier for people to to basically apply the labels, right? So then you have the collective pain and validations of it, right? So many people have experienced toxic or unhealthy relationships, and they find relief in naming the behaviors, right? So when you name the behaviors, even if it's not diagnosed accurately, right? So you can name it even if you're not diagnosing it accurately, right? So then you have those toxic narratives. The content of it, you guys, is spotting the narcissist, or even cutting off toxic people, right? Getting clicks, right? Because it's what? Dramatic. It's relatable. It stirs up emotions. So think about those things too. So let's move to the next one. Is it healing? Is it harmful? Or is it just a trend that we're chasing? Is it healing? Is it harmful? Or is it just a trend that we're chasing? Let's talk about the healing portion of it. The healing portion. Giving laugh to people who experience emotional abuse or manipulation, and helping them to recognize unhealthy patterns. That can empower survivors who set boundaries or even seek help. The harmful part of it, you guys, is misuse of clinical terms like the narcissist personality disorder, the NPD, that's what we call it, right? It is a diagnosis of a mental health condition, you guys, but people are using narcissists, right, as a blanket term for what? Anyone who's hurting them. Anybody who's hurting them, they're using it as a blanket term. This is something that is real. This is a real condition. Y'all dehumanizing others, you guys, when you're labeling someone without a context, and you're dismissing the complexity of that. The complexity in this what can stigmatize the real mental health struggle. What about? Go ahead.
And not to cut you off, to not only just the mental health of the person who actually has the diagnosis, but the mental health, the mental issues that that person imposes on someone else, which is often dismissed.
Right. That's okay. So we're gonna bring it back to the block that that blocks personal growth. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about blocking personal growth. That focus on it when they focus on labeling others, other persons that can distract from self reflecting and healing. Because when you're blocking somebody else, you basically, that's what you're doing. And then trend chasing. Many creators, what they do is they profit from this language because it's clickable, it's dramatic. It encourages culture and even armchair therapy, like you called it. Mm-hmm. Right? So where views feel like experts after 60-minute videos, right? It's clickable. Now I can get some therapy, right? I can get people into my chair. It's a trend chase. I can get you in here. The deep issue is using these terms, narcissist, right, online has become shorthand. Y'all know that term, shorthand, right? It's a shorthand for someone who's hurting me or someone who's being selfish. But it's oversimplified. It's oversimplifying human behavior, and it can weaponize mental health. Language is true NPD, but it affects only the 1% of the population. Yet online feels what? Everyone is being labeled, but it's only affecting 1%. This is what we're talking about, labeling the online labels. We have healthy alternatives to it though, using behavior-based languages. They dismissing it. They always dismissing it. What my feelings instead of what the narcissist. But you want to be able to learn the difference between a toxic and the clinical disorders. A lot of people don't know the difference. They focus on the boundaries and the healing rather than the diagnosis itself.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to seek professional guidance when you're using those things. And if you believe that you're experiencing these abuse, go ahead and seek those professional guidance. Because if you think you having this issue going on, a lot of y'all wouldn't be saying that.
They wouldn't at all.
They wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Because it takes a while to recognize the behaviors of it all, because like I mentioned earlier, it takes years before you even kind of recognize that this is a cycle, because in the beginning the narcissist is the perfect person, and there are different types of narcissists, like,
I'm about
right?
to give them to you too. I'm about to give them to you.
There are different types of narcissists. So that first year is always that honeymoon year. That he might not even, or she may not even be able to last a whole year. Those traits may start showing up, and I'm more than sure they show up before 6 months, before 3 months. You just don't recognize them because the charm is on. That charm factor is on.
Yep. So when you're understanding the types, first of all, when you're understanding the boundary, I mean not the types of narcissism, you want to understand narcissism, period. What is narcissism? Let's talk about that. What is narcissism? What is it? It's a characteristic trait. That's what it is. It's a characteristic trait that is unflattered seen, is an unflattered sense that of sense of importance, is a deep need of admiration, is a lack of empathy for others, is a behavior of occasional, excessive, is all kind of things bottled up into this personality disorder that this person may have. The first one is going to be this Grandison behavior. That's the first one. A sense of self-importance. A sense of self-importance. They fantasize of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. That's the first one. They believe that they are special, they're unique, they can only be understood by anybody that's associated with higher priority, higher purpose, higher status. Mm-hmm. That's the first one. The next one is the need for admiration. That's number 2. They require excessive admiration and validation from others. Often occupied with how they are perceived by others. They may even manipulate situations to receive praises or attention. Number 2, they lack of empathy. They enable or unwillingly to recognize or identify with feeling the needs of others. They don't give a damn about you. They often dismiss your feelings because they don't care. These are signs of a narcissist. They have, number 4 is sense of entitlement. Sense of entitlement. Unreasonable expectations. Especially favorable treats. automatic compliance with their expectations. They may become angry, impatient when they do not receive special treatment. Number 5, explorative behavior. They take advantage of others to achieve their own ends. They may use manipulation, deceit, to use what? Underhanded tactics, you guys, to get what they want. Envy is number 6. They may be envious of others or believe that others are envious of them.
Mm-hmm.
They belittle or even lock down on people they perceive are inferior to them. Let me tell you about some causes and triggers. Narcissists can be influenced by various factors, you guys, including generic factors, inherited factors that can contribute to their narcissistic tendencies, you guys. Studies suggest that possible generic predispositions to narcissist behaviors, right? Even environmental factors can be another cause and trigger, right? Excessive pampering. People that have been excessive pampering, y'all know some men have been excessive pampered by their mothers, right? But excessive pampering is one of them, you guys. Inconsistent parenting, right? Styles, unrealistic expectations from parents. That's another one. That's the environmental factors, you guys. Then we have the psychological factors, deep-seated, right? Insecurities and fears, a need for compensation, for feeling inadequacy, and even low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. What about cultural factors? That's another one. Cultural factors. That's number 4. Societal emphasis. Societal emphasis on individuals' success, even competitions. Media and cultural influences. That's part of all those cultural factors and glorifying narcissist traits. Let's talk about the impacts on relationships. Number 1, personal relationships. Personal relationships. Difficulties maintaining healthy relationships due to self centeredness and lack of empathy. Many engage in manipulative and controlling behaviors to maintain dominancy. Number 2, professional relationships. Struggle with teamwork and collaboration. Potential conflict with what? Colleagues due to their arrogancy and their entitlement. Number 3, family dynamics. Family dynamics is number 3. This can create a toxic environment, you guys, with unrealistic demands and even in emotional manipulations. That may lead to what? Strain or even broken relationships within the family members. I know some of y'all have had that in your family, right? So I want y'all to think about this. Have you ever experienced a relationship with a narcissist individual? And if you have, how did it affect you? If anybody is listening, share some of your experiences in the comments. Share some of your experiences in the comments. Let me tell you one of my experiences. I had a friend who was very self-centered, right? And it made our friendship very difficult. The friendship was very difficult because they were so self-centered. And if y'all have a friend like that, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm a very outgoing person, so people look at me and think I'm stuck up, but I'm not.
Well, I have people say that about me all the time. I'm stuck up. She
Right.
look like she thinks she too much. I don't know how the
Yeah.
hell you think you look like you too much, but
Yeah. How do you look
I
like you
mean,
too much? You got to get to
I
know a person.
because I dress nice and I like to smell
Right.
good. I think I'm too much, or I drive a nice car. Like I
What
cuss
the
and cut
hell?
up like everybody else.
Everybody else, right? If you get to know a person, you'll know that that is not me, baby. I love to have fun. I am a down to earth person, and I cut up, yay. But I love to look nice, so that's not me. And somebody who is self centered, I don't want to be around you. I'm sorry. That's difficult for me. So another reflection question: what challenges have you faced in dealing with a narcissistic individual? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Is anybody out there? I know they out there looking.
Right. Come on
I
in.
know they're looking, but I guess this is the topic is crazy, but I mean I talked about narcissism the whole week. And and the thing is when I try the thing I hate, excuse me, this is my experience. The thing I hate is when the narcissist is within your circle and they're giving other people a different perception of who they are. And when
Mm-hmm.
you're telling people, no, this person is like this person is like that, and talk to one of their friends, and the friend say, oh yeah, I know that nigga play games. I know what he do. Well, my whole point is you have normalized that behavior, so therefore that person doesn't see anything wrong with the things they do. So if you know this person is out here, and I guess from a man's perspective, probably, I'm just saying from anybody's perspective, it would view that person as a stupid, like they would say, oh, she just stupid. She just stupid. But what they don't recognize is that baby, a narcissist is a very determinate person. There's no escaping that unless you stop communication with that person. You stop because, as I said before, the cycle has to begin. You don't start recognizing the cycle until years and years later.
And the thing about it
So
is,
once you,
the thing about it is, when you start recognizing that cycle, you start recognizing it because you start portraying those same traits onto somebody else because it has been portrayed on you.
yes,
And people don't know
and
that those traits are transferable.
yeah, I was well, my cousin, she kind of gave me some people that are in the industry that actually possess um so she did a little research. So she gave me a whole list of people and the traits that they kind of possess.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we all know these people are narcissists. So of course, Diddy is at the top of the list. So Diddy represents that the mogul person persona. He built a kingdom around himself. The way he rebrands constantly and centers everything around his narrative can be very narcissistic. Kanye West, his traits: he has inflated sense of self. He lacks empathy at all times. He has a compulsive need for the spotlight, and we know about that. White people don't like what he said during Katrina. They don't like black people or whatever. Um, the angle Kanye's genius is undeniable, but the way he compares himself to God and his historic icon shows that he has a sense of grandiosity. Kevin Gates, oh my God, Kevin Gates, I know I mean, his traits are he has self-obsession, he's provocative and manipulative in interviews. He has a deep need to be different or above. His angle, he's an example of how narcissism sometimes hide under the spiritual or deepness. It becomes all about how he sees the world, no room for disagreement. They have the Jada Pinkett girl. It's not even showing on Facebook, Myron. See, that's why nobody not talking. Nobody not saying. So Jada Pinkett Smith, her traits are self-victimization, emotional manipulation, as perceived by some. She's spotlight seeking through vulnerability. People talk about her toxic vulnerability where oversharing is used to control the narrative, like she did with Will, told all that man business and made him look like a monster. She does that a lot on that red talk table. I can say that much. She will out somebody, and it lists Tyrese is the last one. He's a gaslighter. He often frames himself as the victim, yes, because he always got his ass online crying about what some woman did to his ass when he know and for me, I've been saying something was wrong with this man. He always frames himself as the victim while ignoring his own toxic behavior, especially in friendships or public feuds.
So you didn't cover everything I just went over. You didn't hit all of them.
So out of all of these people, and we all know that our president is a narcissist. We don't need nobody to tell us that. But our president is a narcissist. So with that being said, out of all the people that have been named, like you can just tell that they have abnormal behavior. And if you look at the average person, like they going out buying all these expensive cars, you got Corvettes, you got Mercedes, you got all of this in your driveway. You making money, you making a little bit of money. You only want to hang with the elite crowd. And if you're not a part of that elite crowd, then you beneath them. They overshower you with gifts in the beginning. Constantly overshower you because all of that is the gimmick to pull you in to, like, oh well, maybe he's this. Well, maybe and that's another thing that happens when on the flip side of being involved with a narcissist, all of that, then they play the guilt trip on you. They always have a sad story. It's always some manipulating ass story of why they did what they did. And then you start to question yourself and say, well, damn, well, maybe it is me. Maybe I am a little bit too aggressive. Or maybe I shouldn't have said that. Or maybe I did. You start looking at yourself and having self-doubt about yourself. And that's one of the things that they're inflicting. Once that happens, that means they have power over you. Once that happens.
Yeah. And you got to be careful about that. I just shared it on my other page. Because I really don't have nobody on, no followers on my business page like that. But I shared it on mine.
You tagged it on mine? So that you tag my name so they could see it on it, because I think that's the only way they're gonna see it. I gotta figure out why is doing that, because it wasn't doing that before.
Let me see how the hell you do that. Yeah, I don't be knowing.
But I see that somebody on there and she did that.
That was me.
Oh well. Because I tried to share it again on my page with the link. Is on, but it's still showing private.
Okay, I shared it. Well, I tag you.
All right. Well, it's saying they have 15 views.
No,
I don't know how.
I don't have that
Yeah,
many people.
yeah, yeah. It's saying it has. I have 15. It had 15 views, so they must be on something else. So So those are some of the things that a narcissist is notorious for pulling you in with those tactics and making you feel like you are the problem in a
Yep.
relationship. So that's how they get you sucked in to being with them so long, because if this guy is taking care of all of your needs and he do fucked up shit, he's gonna throw in your face, babe. I done had it throw it in my face so many times. But didn't I give you this? But didn't I do that for you? But didn't you do this? And I did this and this, that, and that. So it's always gonna be where
Something.
they throw it in your face what they do for you. Trust me. And they gonna always do the minimum to pull you in. It ain't gonna be over the top. And some narcissists are so manipulating, they have the woman or the man, actually, like some men, they take money from women. They have these women housing them. The one, like you said, when the mama nurtures them a lot, they're looking for that mama figure. Or if
Mm-hmm.
she
Mm-hmm.
needs a dad in her life, she around here calling a man daddy. Girl, you a
Ooh.
grown woman. You 40 something years old. What the hell you calling a man maybe 10 years older than you? If you find an older man calling this man daddy, that is manipulation tactics.
First of all, he ain't your daddy and I ain't your baby.
Oh, he ain't the pappy.
That point. Okay.
He is
Time
not.
to move on, sis. Let it go. Let it
So
go.
I
There's a
just
time and
want,
a place,
yeah.
and that's not it.
So
Yeah.
I don't. So, but I just, for me, I just thought it was. I started on this topic a week ago because I thought I should, because I have gone through a relationship and I can very much pinpoint the narcissistic traits in this person who does not think that they are a narcissist, but they do some fuckery bullshit all the time that leads me back to, and I am a professional. I'm a master level social worker. No, I am not licensed, but I've been practicing for 20 years. And trust me, anything that a LMSW can do, Kecia R can do. And I can do some stuff that a LCSW could do. I know how to diagnose and all that too. So I just have not chosen to take the test, but I'm on my way there this year. I'm getting that my license. But anyway,
And me
um,
too. Somebody
so
named Mel. I don't know if they're in your room or not. It's a private chat.
so I don't know. I can't
Um,
see nobody.
oh, it must be mine. I don't know. Oh, Mel, you want me?
Oh,
You want me dropped off? What? Huh?
that's Mel right there at the bottom.
Oh,
I
oh.
didn't see it on there, Mel. I don't know what's going on. I don't see no messages or nothing. I see the private chat. I see it. So how long you been sitting on there, chickadee?
Yeah.
Because I was so engrossed in talking about the narcissist and
I
where
was
so
trying to say, did you want me
yeah.
to drop?
So so where I left off at. Okay, so I was dealing with a narcissist that didn't think he was a narcissist, but I wanted to raise awareness to this because so many of us get into these relationships because really and truly anybody that inflicts abuse, and abuse can look differently. Abuse can be mentally, physically, and emotional abuse. And just because someone is not leaving bruises on your skin does not mean that you're not being abused, because they can mentally and emotionally abuse you. And how they do that is emotional neglect can lead to mental abuse. So if a person is depriving you of the things that you know that you need in a relationship, because a relationship that is not toxic and does not, and the person is not narcissistic, he's capable of freely being affectionate. He's capable of freely pouring life into you, and not just when he has the need to pour life into you. So, and I recognize the cycle. I want to say I did recognize the cycle in maybe the third year, because it took that long for me to catch on to. And I was like, this nigga crazy, something wrong with him. But it took me a little while to kind of catch on to the cycle. So when I started recognizing how the musical chairs went of women, that's when I started recognizing the actual cycle. And it may not just be women. It may be other things that he may, well, I don't know what else could they be addicted to, but they like to have multiple relationships because it's the supply that actually supplies this person. If you're constantly admiring this person, and you're kind of, like I said, a young girl calling the older guy daddy, that's giving him constant admiration. That's feeding him. The minute she stops doing that and showing that side of basically they're sucking the love out of you. And I like to call those people vampires.
Right.
They're literally sucking the life out of you. Whatever light that you have shining, they will drain your light at some point. I look at pictures, like different phases of my life in pictures as we go through these different decades. And I look at some of my pictures before and after doing or what have you. And I feel like at this point in time, I'm in a good space, mind space. I feel like I'm happier. I'm focused on doing things for Kecia. I have been talking about a podcast, and I wanted to do this for I don't know how long. And I just decided one day I'm just gonna focus on me and do the things that I want to do, and put more focus into that and making me happy and building a foundation for me, instead of having the anxiety of the expectation of somebody else doing things for me. I don't know.
Making sure that you get that self-care, and like you say, focusing on you and setting those boundaries as needed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, but I mean, it all starts with self-awareness. They have to be aware first. If they're not aware about what's going on, then I mean, they have to know what's going on first. I mean, coping and being understanding and knowing that, the psychological factors, the culture factors, all those things that plays a part. If they don't know what's going on, then they can't get out of what they're in.
And you're right. And that's with any abusive relationship, right? If that woman is being beaten on, as a many a times, I've heard that said time and time again, well, why she stay in that relationship if he beating on her? With all abuse is a cycle. Not that doesn't just reference to the narcissist. It applies to any abusive situation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are, and then in some of these situations, this woman is like deathfully scared of this person. If you, and narcissists do have the tendency to stalk you. They are watching you when you don't even know you're being watched.
That's because it's a psychological thing that's playing in the back of your mind. Is the psychological abuse more than anything that's hunting you. The psychological abuse is really what's playing more than a physical abuse. The psychological is more harmful than any abuse that's basically out there. I'm not going to say any abuse, but the psychological abuse will break you down internally, as the physical abuse will harm you externally.
Mm-hmm. And I remember telling Sam one time, I was like, I don't care what. I need to know what he's doing, because I need to watch him. I don't trust him, not to know what he's doing. But and she said that's the craziest thing I ever heard of in my life. If you away from that person, stay away from that person. And I was like, I have to know what they're doing, because I was more concerned about what I didn't know than what I knew. But now I recognize the fact that I was doing myself more harm by even entertaining that, because what I was doing was wrapping myself up into a different type of cycle that was occurring, and a cycle that I didn't even recognize because I was so used to a different cycle. That cycle had to switched up on me so fast, and I'm like, I'm telling everybody, oh no, I'm in control. I got this. I'm in control. I got this.
You wasn't. You wasn't. They was trying to tell you wasn't, but you thought in your mind that you was in full control. In actuality, you were not in control. He was in control, and he had total control. And you thought you was the person that was in control, but you wasn't.
No, I was not. And I had to recognize that, because the cycle was a different type of cycle, and that I had never experienced before. So he switched up on me, and I'm thinking, oh no, I got this under control because I'm not tied in like this. I'm not tied in like that. But I was still getting sucked in and wrapped into a vicious cycle. And just think, if I wouldn't have said, you know what, enough is enough. I don't have time for this. And then you start pulling yourself back out of that, and you start recognizing, well, hey, and then I had Nikki came on. She said, let me tell you something. She said, I love you to death. But every time you are talking to this person, you are a different person. You are so much more happier outside of this situation. When you were not talking to that person, you were so happy. Like you had things going on. You were doing this, you were doing that. The minute I got sucked into that situation again,
Your light went
focusing on me. I started focusing on that, because I was steady building defense mechanisms, and I just had no emotional. I had to get control of my emotions and all of that, and that takes work to try to untangle your emotion, just reacting off of your emotions and recognizing
psychologically. You were basically psychological. You had that psychological factor going on. That's what that was. The psychological factors that was basically, you were deep seated into insecurity and fear, where your compensations and your inadequate and your low self-esteem was playing a part in everything that was going on. You were manipulated deeply into his world.
Yes.
Yep.
Into the foolishness.
Yeah, you were psychologically, that psychological factor of his environment.
Yes. And now that I'm not going along with the program anymore, now it's a problem. We have nothing but conflict. But me, I don't have conflict. I got peace and love for everybody. But now that I am not going along with the program, it is a problem. I'm the problem. I got it but I am not the problem. I am a beautiful, loving person, and I deserve to be treated the same. And I deserve.
You're a Gemini. We don't mind being a victim in nobody's story. As long as we can move on, that's fine.
Yeah. So, and then, I don't mind being a loser either. So if I gotta be the loser to get away from certain situations, or if they let that person move on with whoever they're moving on with, I don't mind being a loser, baby, because I'm the winner overall. Deuces.
Be like deuces.
I don't mind being a loser, baby. When it comes down to my peace and happiness, I don't mind being a loser. So if I'm the loser, let me be the loser.
Be adios, amigos. Gotta go. Peace and happiness. Wish you well and all that. Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on. Studio chat. I don't know what's going on in that.
Studio chat.
Yeah, I guess StreamYard done made some changes that I'm not aware.
They have a lot of changes that they made.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get that together before I get back on here, because I don't know what's going on with the screen. It's saying 3 people in the studio chat.
That's us.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
That's us.
I didn't see. And then something. Okay. As long as I understand that part. But I thought I had a good understanding of what's going on. So, Mel, you got something to say in this situation, girl, about the narcissistic behaviors and I gave a good list of celebrity narcissists, right? You okay down there?
I just looked at something that was given 5 types of narcissism. That's one word I never use. That's something I've never called someone. Like,
Good.
I know as of lately, and it's been for a while, people have been using that word, to label people as if they are, psychiatrists to be able to diagnose someone with
That's
something.
what we talked about. That's exactly what
Um,
we talked about.
I don't know necessarily to say that I have came across or dealt with relationships with one. I know it's just some. For me, I just feel it's some good people out there, and some bad people out there. And
Mhm.
it's people with different types of trauma and that need lots of healing. You have to be when it comes down to that, I think it's like lack of self-love and being genuine, because I feel like when you're healed and love yourself, then you're able to have healthy relationships with people. And that can be,
Okay.
friendship, family, or romantic. So
Right.
that's kind of my take on it. A lot of it, I can never sit back and, just use the words people love the trend and call people. We can recognize different traits in people, and a lot of times it just comes from being not healed necessarily. People deal with a lot of things, from family, friends, and relationships. And some things are coping mechanisms. But for me, I'm the type of person that once and some things come from childhood and, my thing, but as an adult, you're responsible. You are accountable for how you treat people, how you react to people. So we've all gone through trauma. We've all have dealt with some things, and what we choose to do with our lives afterwards. So yeah, I feel once you have control, there's no excuse. Like you're a victim when you're a child, you're a victim when you're going through certain things, but once you have control, you dictate that. So it's no excuse,
Yeah, it's
to
up
be
to change it.
um
But
a
when you get
negative
in,
or bad human being or treat others wrong.
yeah, but you
So
have people that have real disassociative behaviors where their defense mechanism is to disassociate themselves from if they've experienced some extreme trauma in their lives and don't want to become and they don't want to be hurt again, or maybe they're like a woman who's experienced sexual trauma as a child. They can associate and that can
Mm-hmm.
be unconscious and then self subconscious. All of that is why they react and behave the way they behave, but they have not begun the healing process. So everyone that they become and they encounter is inflicted with the cause effect of the trauma that they have experienced. So a person who is capable
Mm-hmm.
of disassociating themselves is capable of murder. Is
so I,
capable.
I think what she's saying is once you become an adult, it's up to you to get the help and the healing that you need. So you can become a better person, and therefore you don't have
Yeah.
those issues that makes you the person that you can become a murderer, or you should become a murderer, or you can become a killer, because you have the idea that I'm a human being. I don't
Mhm.
have to be this way. I can choose to be different, because what has happened to me in the past is in the past,
That's it.
and I am now a grown person, and I can choose to change my life because I know better. Right?
Yeah, I
Right.
agree with that because
Right.
we
So
all know when
Yep.
something wrong with us.
right. So
You know when your mind is not functioning in a
Because
normal
my
capacity.
thing is, how can you feel that you were a victim to something and not understand not to do it to someone else? Like, in order to really say I was a victim, that means you felt that pain, you felt that hurt. So you would never want to do that to someone else, or
Well, I
hurt
mean,
someone,
I get what you're
period.
saying.
So it
I do
mm-hmm,
get what you're saying. Unfortunately, some people do not come out of that capacity. They stay
mm-hmm,
in that traumatized phase, and they do not grow up. Their
mm-hmm.
brain does not develop into an adulthood, if I'm making any sense to what I'm saying. You following me? Okay.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
but
I told you,
but
you're absolutely right.
but there
Mm-hmm,
are certain
mm-hmm.
people that happens to, and then they have, and it's a percentage, but that percentage is not as huge as the majority. So those individuals may be categorized as children.
Mm-hmm.
The others, on the other hand,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
have what we call the know-how to make the difference and make the change as needed, but they choose not to. So I do get what you're saying, but the ones that does not, we categorize them in the MMR
Mm-hmm.
state,
Yeah,
right? Um, but let's
there's
go
always
back,
exceptions.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just go back. Let's say 10 years ago. 10 years ago, most people didn't know the word gaslighting, right? Most people, we
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that word, right? And now it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Gaslighting is
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. It
Yeah.
was an increase in awareness, right? It was an increase in awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. But sometimes knowledge, you guys, is only a surface level.
Uh-huh.
It's, it's only a surface level. So mental health awareness, you guys, is going mainstream, period. It's going mainstream. So when we say, why is everyone being labeled as a narcissist online, we got to understand where this is going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we also want qualified people to make these diagnoses and not weaponize that word narcissist because it is being weaponized on
All right.
social media.
Let's look at it like this. Okay, so when we say social media simplifies complex issues, because that's what they do. They simplify
That
complex issues. So when we
diagnosis.
say a 60-second, when we say a 60-second TikTok that says 5 signs that your ex is a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can
Mm-hmm.
that okay, five signs that your ex is a narcissist can possibly explain full contents of a personality disorder or unhealthy trait. Now, if they check your phone during during a big moment, let's say if they check your phone during a big moment and a red flag, is that a narcissist? Is that a narcissist alert? Because y'all having a big argument and they just start checking their phone. Is that a narcissist alert?
Checking their phone or checking my phone?
Checking their
Checking
phone.
my phone.
Checking
That's a
their phone.
sign. That's a red flag of abuse. So
So if
yeah.
they're checking, no, if y'all in a big moment, if y'all having a big moment, I don't care what it is. It could be a sexual moment, y'all having sex, and they just
Mm-hmm.
stop to check their phone. Is that a narcissist?
If he checks out the
I'm saying,
What?
now we're talking about a social media. We're talking about a TikTok social media saying this. Now, this is what we're talking about. 5 signs that your ex is a narcissist. Now, this is the catch. Check it out. This is the catch. If your ex, I'm sorry, if they check their phone during a big moment, is that a red flag that is that a red flag that that they're a narcissist?
According to TikTok, it is.
Okay. So I'm just saying, this is how
I wouldn't say they're, I wouldn't, for me, I wouldn't say they were,
okay,
but I
so
would, it's
this
a
is how they
problem. I know they
oversimplify.
disrespectful. I know they disrespectful.
Okay, but this is how they oversimplify, because not all inattentive, right? Not all inattentive behaviors equals narcissism.
It does not.
Right. But they
It doesn't.
oversimplify stuff. This is how they oversimplify. But this is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're talking about. People are seeking validation. They're seeking a validation. They're scrolling. They're seeking communities. They're seeking something. So many people feel relieved, right? So when they name their pain, this is what they're doing. They're naming their pain one way or another. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but just because you have, and I'm gonna reiterate this, every abuser possesses a narcissistic trait. So you
Every
have
person, not every abuser,
every
person.
person possesses a narcissistic trait at some degree. But is the intensity of it and the duration of it where it you can say, okay, well, he been doing this shit for 5 months. The cycle happened this time, it stopped, then he had a cycle again. So okay, now I'm gonna start looking at you because you got a history of this behavior. Then I need to see, for one thing, how many times you done did this while we together.
And if it doesn't fall in those 6 categories that we talked about earlier, are they narcissists?
So again, like you said, people are looking for communities, people are looking to name their pain, but I think in a good way, in a good way, that the message is out there. It is raising awareness about it. But I need for the people that's actually like, you break up with your boyfriend and they say, well, why you broke up with him? Oh, he was a narcissist. Well, why you call him a narcissist? Because he think he too much. He always he think he too much, so he a narcissist. He has a narcissist is going, like, that behavior is so intense and it's so unrecognizable in your presence. Like, it happens in real time and people every day look over it. And like I said earlier, that those behaviors are normalized. Just like bullying is normal. And in a way, a narcissist is actually a bully.
Narcissist has become a catchy word, just like demure, just like gaslighting. It has become a trendy, catchy word for someone who has hurt me or someone who is selfish. That's all narcissist has become. And they basically just misusing the word. And most people are trend chasing and they just misusing that word.
Yeah.
So, just like you say, she left the boy because he hurt her or because he was selfish. That's why they're using it. They don't understand what NPD means. So they're misusing it.
And that's why they need to leave the diagnosing to the professionals. And if you're hurt and you feel like you've been in a toxic relationship, seek help for yourself. Right. Seek your own diagnosis so you can discover and explore your own traumas, and not diagnose someone else, or not get into the trend of, oh, this happened because he's a narcissist. I can scroll on whenever I go on TikTok. If I like one thing, I'm gonna have a million narcissistic ass 60-minute videos. It's to the point I just pass through them because it's really triggering for me. But I think it's like 8:00 on y'all. So it's 8:00. So any final thoughts on that, Master? Any final thoughts, Mel?
Let's see. Yeah, I have one. We all want language to make sense, right? To make sense of our pains, but diagnoses are diagnosing others for a distance can hurt more than it helps. Instead of chasing trends, let's focus on understanding behavior, setting boundaries, and doing the work to heal ourselves, because healing isn't about labels, it's about growing.
Yes.
So that's all I have
Yes.
to say. And just release the need to label others and choose to focus on your healing and your boundaries.
Yes. So you can be in your soft girl era. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, until next week,
Yes.
we're gonna have, and again, there's some new stuff we're doing. So follow me on. Again, you can check me out on TikTok. I am on TikTok, Winedown Wednesday. That's my TikTok page. But also, if you want to see us streaming live, you can tune into YouTube and Instagram at KPR KPR Productions LLC on Instagram, and YouTube KPR. I had it somewhere at the bottom. I don't know what happened to it. Is at K, what is it, KPR or Carrie? Is I'm on YouTube. I know it's at K is Carrie to be on YouTube. I forget, y'all. Because I guess it's my little drinky drink starting to kick in, and I'm tired. A long day. So until next week, next Wednesday, and we ain't talking about no drabby shit no more, because I'm starting to get triggered by this shit. No more narcissistic talk. So I'll see y'all as next week. Be good.
Somebody just coming on. Hey, whoever that is, how y'all doing? Sam.
Tonight
we just finished. The topic was on narcissism. We are done.
We done. Like, we get ready to cut off. But you have any final thoughts, Sam, before we leave, Mr.
It was on narcissism. We are done. Thank you for coming on.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.